wanted to write from like the moment I couldn't even spell.
But
like,
I do agree. I got a lot to learn when it comes to acting. I still got to practice
on the radio promoting the show and had invited
Bigger, better than the first. The Adam Talks Podcast, Season 2.
Hey guys, how's it going? So good to have you back here. I'm very happy to have all of you here watching or listening to us right here on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. It means so much to me that you're here, guys. We got a really good episode, and I mean a really good episode for you here today. But before we get into any of the information about this episode, could you do me a favor? Would you be willing to do something that takes just a couple seconds? If you're watching us on YouTube right now, hit that subscribe button. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Apple Podcasts, give us a follow. It helps out so much to know who's staying with the podcast, who's going to be watching, who's going to be listening, and who is continuing to do so. I'm so grateful for all of you guys, but like I said, this episode is going to be awesome. We have the second all-time leading rusher in Arkansas State University history coming on today. And guys, he is a really cool guy. He is a guy who had 3 back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons for Arkansas State University. We are talking to the guy who wore number 2 between the years of 2006 to 2009, Reggie Arnold. Guys, this episode is awesome. It's a lot of fun. And trust me when I say you're going to love it. Without any further ado, here is my conversation with Reggie Arnold. Right now we are sitting down with my favorite Arkansas State University running back of all time. It's a huge honor for me to get to talk to this guy. He wore number 2 from 2006 to 2009, racked up 3 back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, and is currently ranked second all-time career rushing in Arkansas State University history. We are talking to Reggie Arnold. How's it going, man?
Awesome, man. Awesome. Glad to be on your podcast, Adam. Glad to be on your podcast.
Man, the pleasure is all mine, dude. I feel like a kid in a candy store right now. Getting to talk
Yes,
to a
sir.
dude that
Yes,
I
sir.
played you on a video game so many different times, man. I played my brother, he plays Arkansas, plays Arkansas State every time, or he'd pick Oregon and I'd pick Arkansas State. Didn't matter. I was always Arkansas State, and if it was '07 to 2010, as far as video games go, I was running the ball with number 2. You know what I mean? The monster, Reggie
Yes,
Arnold.
sir. Yes, sir, for sure. You definitely could count on me to get those tough yards in real life
Yes,
as well
sir.
as on the video game.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. How did you get into football, man? Was it just something that you found you loved whenever you were a kid?
My dad actually played college football and had a little stint at pros. He played at the University of Purdue from 74 to 77. And was an
Oh
all Big
wow.
Ten wide receiver. So it's kind of in the blood. Just funny talking about that. He wasn't one of the parents that kind of like pushed football off on me or whatever. He let me actually develop the love of the game on my own. And so once I developed it, he just sat back and would give me little tidbits throughout the day of us going and things like that. Come home from practice, tell me, well, this is what you should do on your blocking and things like that. Even with him being a wide receiver, just the knowledge of the game that he had or has, and he passed down to me as well.
Right on, man. Right on. Where did you go to high school? Was it Jonesboro? Was it Nettleton or?
No, sir. I went to Little Rock, McClellan.
Oh, okay. Okay. What was it like playing there, man? What was your high school career like?
High school career, it was pretty interesting. My first year there in the ninth grade, um, couple of the Arkansas State fan base will be familiar with him. David Gunn was my high school football coach.
Oh, wow.
Funny story about that. I've always been a strong kid or person. Let me say that, not a kid anymore, but I've always been a strong person. So we were undersized in high school, and so I was actually placed on offensive line in the ninth grade and played a little bit of running back, offensive guard, or offensive tackle, and things like that. And then Coach Roberts ended up getting a job at Arkansas State, and Coach Gunn left and went there. And then Coach Hudson ended up coming in. He ended up leaving from Art McClellan to North Little Rock. But I started to play running back a little bit more in my 10th grade year.
Okay. Man, most of the time when you see a running back, they're between 5'10" and 6 foot. And you're not that, but you're like a bowling ball, man, running through people, running around people. Has it always been a natural thing? You said you were strong, always as a kid. You're not a kid anymore, but you were always strong as a kid, you know. Was it always just a bulldoze, try to bulldoze through them, or did you try to go around them a lot as well?
Um, like you said, I was always a big kid, and so it was always kind of like a physical game for me. As I would watch the players, like I said, my dad played in football in college and the pros. As I would watch college athletes, and I would see the running back position and see what they would do. And then I would hear them out. The commentators always say he was always one cut downhill type of person. So that's kind of what I instilled in myself and wanted to be like a physical, one cut downhill type of person. Of course, being the age that I am, that's when the era when you had the Emmitt Smiths and the Emmitt Smiths and the Rod
Like,
Smiths and things like that. Those type of running backs.
yeah. Like Barry Sanders is also in that category as
Yes,
well.
sir. Barry
He
Sanders,
was a bat.
Walter Payton. Let's see. I'm having a brain fart now, but I guess your Marcus Allens and things like that. Ricky Williams, of course, he came out around the time that I was coming out of. After a little bit before me, but those are the type of guys that I would watch play, Cedric Benson and things like that, and watch them play and pattern my game after them. And of course, they weren't the most elusive, but they were able to be physical and had the speed that it took to be effective as a running back.
Did your team do well in high school? Was it a successful
Uh,
team or was it like a fairly even or?
Looking back at it now, look from ninth grade to 12th grade, I would probably say I won more at McClellan than I lost. I guess may have been one year that I can just think of that we didn't have the best of season. It was my senior year. We went like 3-7. Of course, my ninth grade year, I was on the freshman team that year, but the senior team we went on to play. The varsity went on to play Cabot in the playoffs that year in 2001. In 2002 when we played, so yeah, we had a pretty good winning season. Well, not so much as a winning season, but the record, it reflected over
Yeah.
500 win.
Wow. Okay. Um, whenever you got to your senior year, was there a lot of people, like a lot of schools scouting you, a lot of people's looking at scholarships coming your way, or was it just a couple different ones?
No, no, sir. Like I said, we were having a down year that year. Although it was a down year, I did have the Razorbacks and things like that, Arkansas State, mostly the in-state schools looking at me. Um, it was just one of those years where I just was having to grind and make sure that I was productive enough and to actually get a scholarship.
With the record not as stellar or a team that's not as stellar, how do you have to make yourself stand out? How do you do that in order for scouts to see you and be able to say, all right, that guy's got some potential for the future? What do you have to do to stand out in that sort of environment?
Um, what I would say, and this is to any athlete at any sport, but most definitely in football, you have to check all the boxes for them. When your team's not the best, you as an individual have to check all the boxes, for your respective position, or, if you're going in as an athlete or whatever, you have to check all the boxes, the speed, the physical height, the measurements there. Are you knowledgeable of the game of football? Can you protect? So those were the things that I did well. I didn't fumble the ball. I was able to protect. able to catch the ball out the backfield. And of course, I had a physical upside to me, far as the strength that I displayed and the speed that I did have.
Okay. Um, so did Arkansas State just like you said, Arkansas, mostly in-state schools? Was Arkansas State just calling you, being like, hey, Reg, we need you to come here. We want you to run for us. We need you here, man. Come on, you're going to give us
Uh,
3 back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons.
Reflecting, like you say, having a conversation with you and reflecting on the actual recruiting process, it wasn't so much as them beating down the door or anything like that. They did show a high interest, and they did let me know that if I did come to Arkansas State, that I would have the ability to compete for a starting position um, after my freshman year, so to speak. Even coming into my freshman year. So that was something that I definitely looked forward to with them, or I was pleased with Arkansas State, because the honesty was there with what they had in there. The running back position had going on. They had Antonio Warren, Shamar Bracey, Chris Easley. All of those guys were coming back. Of course, I think Antonio Warren had produced 2,000-yard seasons already for him. Shamar Bracey, which ended up going to have some time with the Green Bay Packers and playing in the CFL and things like that. So um, that was something that I looked at as, okay, they're on their way out the door. At least worst case scenario for me, if I get red shirted, um, the top dogs are actually gone, and then I've actually been able to have some time to learn from them, and get adapted as a college running back.
What was the most difficult part for you as far as going from high school football to college football? Was it learning all the different plays that come with the college playbook, or was it something more physical or something different altogether?
Hey, man, Adam, the what you just said about the learning the playbooks, that's actually was something that I enjoyed. Just from going back to high school and little league and things like that, not being exposed to the X's and O's of the game, and actually coming into college and seeing the different angles to look at film and study film and things like that. That's something that I actually enjoyed about it, because I think it helped me adapt and become and grow as the player that I was able to be with Arkansas State, like you said. Um, Looking back, I would probably say that the hardest part about college football for me, um, getting adjusted to the speed. I'll probably say the speed. Just throw the speed. The physicalness wasn't, because I was just a physical guy and enjoyed the physical contact. But knowing that, defensive ends and linebackers can pursue you at the angles at the same speed that you're running at that same speed of that angle, and make those stops and things like that.
I couldn't imagine, man, having somebody that's 300 pounds coming at you going the same speed you're going. If you're going like breaking off the line, I mean, immediately you get the ball and boom, as soon as you get the handoff, you're sprinting. You're going as fast as you can to get through that and moving your legs so that way you can keep that line moving no matter what. And they're like, and they grab you. They can take you down just as quick as you are moving. That is
Yeah,
nuts to me, man.
yeah, yeah,
These guys are gigantic and they're able to move as quick as they are, man. That's nuts.
yes, sir.
And you did, man. You came into a team with some big names. I've heard of Antonio Warren, especially, that guy, he was a freaking beast, man. And you came in there and you came in there and you started in your freshman year, man. How did that work out for you?
Yeah. It was my red shirt freshman year. I can remember that was the year that they Coach Roberts took them to the New Orleans Bowl, which was played in Lafayette, which was in 2005. Um, and it's funny to me now. I remember telling Coach Roberts that this would make 6 a.m.s worth it just going to a bowl game. And, I just remember working extra hard that off season to learn the plays and the playbook and just physically able to go from 6 a.m.s to football practice and being a college football player at that time. So, man, it just was amazing.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine being on a Division I college football team and getting the chance to be on the field watching this bowl game playing in front of you, getting to see getting the opportunity to see it, let alone be there with the team and being part of that team at a bowl game. What was that experience like, man?
Man, it was big time. Like it really was big time because you saw the media coverage. Of course, you knew it was going to be displayed on national TV on ESPN. Um, and seeing those guys out there playing against Southern Mississippi and them going out there fighting and playing as hard as they did. Although we didn't come out on top, but like I said, it just was motivation to get back there. And like you said, seeing a program with the history that Southern Mississippi had with the names of the Brett Favres, like him being their quarterback, and of course being one of those programs that were underdogs but had built their programs up, and us going out there and playing against them, um, it just made me want to be that player that got us back there.
Coming into your actual freshman year, not your redshirted freshman year, but the very next year, man, you came in there and you lit the world on fire at Arkansas State University, man. You lit them up, man. 1,000 yards your very first season. That is nuts, man. That's a lot of hard work and dedication. And I'm sure y'all had a heavy schedule as well, man. How did that play into it? Your heavy schedule going into this as a freshman, as a guy who has just learned and stood on the sidelines, getting in there to play against all these bigger teams with all these huge names potentially on them. What was that like for you going in there and knowing, hey, I'm the guy that they're counting on to carry this ball. I'm the guy that they're counting on to get us that 1 yard, that 2 yard, that half yard if necessary, that 12 yard that we needed. What was it like having that weight on your shoulders?
Uh, Looking at it, I was naive to it from the perspective now because my first game we played the University of Army and I had 25 carries that game, and it didn't register to me at that point in time what pivotal workload that I would have to carry for our team. So I was kind of naive to it, but like I spoke when they inducted me into the Hall of Fame, the Ring of Honor up there at Arkansas State, hearing the stats and the physicality, like you spoke about, of our not just our in-conference season, our in-conference schedule, but our out-of-conference schedule, which we played a lot of SEC schools and Conference USA schools like that. Um, just the physicality and getting to it, like you said, sitting on the sidelines and knowing that I just have to be a physical player in D1 football right now. I can't worry about um, if I know the play is if I'm doing the play right. I just have to run hard as I possibly can and be physical. Like one of my coaches told me in high school, if you're going to make a mistake full speed.
Yeah, man. That's a good saying, man. That's a good saying. Uh, you're a vertical runner. You're not a horizontal runner most of the time. You're a vertical runner. You like going north south, not east west. And there's a lot of Reggie
Yeah.
Bushes out there that's an east west runner. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes,
you were
sir.
not. You were the north. You were the opposite. You were the north south. And uh, just what was that? What was the mentality of that? I know you said from an early age you liked that physicality, but what was the thought every time you knew you were getting an upper middle play, a dive or a draw or something of that nature?
Our offensive scheme was a zone scheme, so it was kind of like like I stated earlier, a one cut downhill type of offense. So that's why I think I'm
Mhm.
another reason why I flourished as much as I did at Arkansas State. But um, just getting the ball up the middle, man, and knowing that you were gonna have to take on defender after defender and be a physical, hellacious running back. Like I said, it's just a different feeling and a different thrill that you'll get.
Okay. Whenever you get, what did it feel different to you whenever you had to run outside, or was it all the same either way? Like I don't know, sprint or a pitch to the outside?
Running to the outside for me, it felt the same because like you said, I was a north to south runner, so I just wanted to get. If I was running, having to run on a sweep or something like that, I wanted to run as hard as I could to be out leverage that defender because I knew that defensive end, that linebacker, they also could make the play because they have the same, like we stated earlier in the conversation, same amount of speed and speed capability as I do as well.
Right on, man. Right on. What goes into preparate? What goes into being a really, really good running back, man? Because, like I said, you are a really, really good running back, man. What goes into that?
Knowledge of the game. I know we give the quarterback a lot of the mental
Credit?
capacity that the quarterback should have. The running back as well needs that because you're going to have to be doing blitz pickups as far as defenders blitzing and linebackers and defensive ends that might come free. You'll have to learn protections. And so you have to be able to, in my mind frame, you have to be able to do the great things without the ball in your hand first and foremost. Obviously, you know, when college coaches come look at you, they're coming to look for a running back, so they know that you can run the ball. But what are you doing when you don't have the ball in your hand? So what comes to being a great running back, like I said, you have to be able to obviously run the ball, but more than anything, when it comes to separating you from the next man up, you have to be able to pass protect. You have to catch the ball out the backfield. You have to not turn the ball over, not put the ball on the ground.
Okay. That all makes plenty of sense. I mean, if you look at more the more successful running backs in history, the Gale Sayers, the Walter Paytons, the Larry Zonkas. I mean, you look at oh my God, I am blanking as well. You look at all kinds of really good running backs, man. It happens. It happens to everybody. You blank. It just whatever. But
Yes, sir.
you know, you look at all the great running backs, man, they don't put the ball on the ground much. They don't hit the ball does not
Right.
touch the ground. Whether they get a yard, whether they lose yards, it doesn't matter. That ball is in their hands. They're gripping it. They make sure they got the good grip on it and it ain't going anywhere. Cause that's, as a running back, that's what you want. But also, like you said,
Yes,
you gotta
sir.
be able to pick up blitzes. You gotta be able to make sure you're watching out for the quarterback because at any point, some random lineman could come through and blitz your quarterback, come straight through a defensive tackle, a defensive end. It doesn't matter. He can come through and try to get him. You got to be able to somehow stop that behemoth from getting to your guy, you know?
Yes,
That's a
sir.
big part of it, you know? And I think, man, you did spectacularly at that, you know? Uh, and it shows by you being in the Arkansas State Ring of Honor. You know what I mean? It definitely shows in a large way. Um, let's talk about a particular game. You guys beat Texas A&M at their stadium. That is a big game, man. How did that come, like, what was the game plan going into that? Because that was a very tight scoring game that you were in. What was that game like for you?
Um, I remember going into that week. We felt like that was a game that we could actually get, as far as a big win for our program. They had a new head coach with, I believe it was Mike Sherman at the time. We're transitioning with their quarterback. And we had gotten stronger. That was my red shirt junior year. Our defense was strong. Corey was returning. Um, Alex Carrington on defense, Brian Hall. So we knew that we had the team and the pieces that could actually come out victorious that week. And I believe I want to say it was Michigan beat the University, or no, Appalachian State might have beat Michigan that week, I believe, or someone got upset big in the Power Five conference. And I remember Coach Roberts telling us in the pregame that we were gonna do the same thing on that day. And so we went out there, man, and we were just a confident ball club. And like you say, the game was tight. We were running the ball well, picking up first downs when we had to in the passing game. Defense had a great turnovers at the most opportune times, and made the plays when they need to happen. And of course, Josh Rocco came through and made key field goal after key field goal that game.
Man, I couldn't imagine the feeling of knowing you're going against that kind of a powerhouse school, man. And then going in there and facing these giants, not physical giants. I mean, they probably were huge, but, facing these giants that is Texas A&M, the Aggies, man, at the 12th man field. I mean, Jesus, dude, that would be nuts. How did the crowd come into play? Could you feel the crowd underneath your feet while you were out there on the field or on the sidelines, like the shaking of the field or anything like that?
Oh man, and that atmosphere, out of all those places that I've played, Texas A&M probably would be number one as far as the atmosphere with the SEC and the outer conference play. Of course, the Arkansas State Stadium, my home stadium, the Red Wolf Den, Centennial Bank
Yeah.
Stadium, all that great stuff. It's definitely home of home. But as far as the crowd, that the 12th man, as they coined themselves, it was definitely fun. It was a thriver for me. And I think as well as our team that game, because like I said, we weren't shaken or rattled by it, but you could see that it was, like I said, one of those moments to not only beat a Power Five school, but beat a team with such great tradition as the Texas A&M University has with their 12th man. And like I said, Mike Sherman, who was a ex NFL pro. Head coach with the Green Bay Packers and so on. And of course, like you said, the Giants that they have, we all know the great linebacker that he is and still is today, Von Miller. He was on their defense.
Oh, wow.
Ryan Tannehill was there. So they had powerhouse and pro players on their team, and we went out there and took care of business and stunned the world, I would say, of Texas A&M.
Yes. Yeah, I'd say so, man. I'd say so. You took their breath away and they said, what the hell is happening? How are
Right,
they
right.
coming into our stadium and beating us? You know what I mean? But they didn't know they were getting the full pack of the Red Wolves coming their way, man. They didn't know.
Yes,
They
sir.
had no idea.
Yeah. I think our fan base traveled well that game as well. Like I said, I think that it's another thing that played a key factor in the their fans not being a factor, because I think we kind of had a big fan base that game as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right. So 3 back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing seasons. How the hell did you do it, man? How the hell did you do it?
With a
That's
lot of
nuts,
tape,
man.
playing with a high ankle sprain, with a
Holy
lot of
crap.
tape, and but no, overall, just like you said, just tenacity and the will to, just want to go out there and just physically dominate the linebackers and the defensive linemen and the cornerbacks, because, I felt like if I could beat on them a little bit, it could soften it up for our passing game and allow our receivers and tight ends and things like that to go out there and steal a couple of extra plays that could be the difference in the ball games for us. So, man, it was definitely a fun thing. Like, just like you say, having flashbacks, like you say, having those little pauses in there, but just having visuals of playing in games and things like that with those guys, man. So,
Yeah, man. I, I can't blame you at all for that, man. Shoot, having flashbacks of those magical days, man. Those things, Jesus. I could only imagine. You were with Steve Roberts your entire college career, correct?
Yes, sir. Most definitely, Steve Roberts.
What was his coach? What was he like as a coach for you, man?
Man, he had a saying, or me and a couple of my teammates had a saying. I ran through a brick wall for that man. Like he gave me an opportunity coming from Little Rock, Arkansas, kid out of Southwest Little Rock, to go and play college football, earn the college degree. Um, so I ran through a brick wall for him just off of that in itself. But just him as a coach, he was a passionate man about his players. That's one thing that you don't hear a lot of players who I've talked to outside of not only Arkansas State, but like, the bigger name colleges, that they didn't feel the love or the passion. They felt the business and the coach side of it. But what I can honestly say, of course I got the coaching from him, but the overall love and passion that he displayed for me as a player and a human being registers more for me than anything.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the most important thing, man. Whenever you find somebody that's going to be there to help you strive and be better, someone's going to help you move forward in whatever pursuit you're after. That's the most important thing. And knowing that that person's looking out for your best interest. So, yeah, man, that's awesome, man. I can understand the run through a brick wall mentality. I really can. Um,
Yes,
you
sir.
are second. You're second all time leading rusher in Arkansas State University career rushing history. You have a little less than 4,000 yards rushing in your college career, dude. That is nuts. Uh, was there any goal to go to the NFL after, or CFL or arena football or anything like that after college?
Absolutely. You don't play the game as long as most players played it, and for myself, playing it since I was 7 years old, and not have that be inspired to go to the NFL or want to go to the NFL. So that was the bittersweet part of um, ending of the college career, that knowing that I wouldn't be playing at that next level at that point in time, or having the opportunity to play, because, like, excuse me, I mentioned
Oh,
to a
you're
lot
good,
of
man.
people, and I spoke to you earlier about it. I love studying the game of football. I love the game of football. So not being able to watch film and break down blitz pickups, and see exactly what coverage a defense is playing, even though we might be in a run situation. But I was looking at that, like I said, it was just, that's what was missing about not going to the NFL. Obviously, the money and the stardom and things like that, but the overall not playing the game of football and having the opportunity to study the game and advance even further mental capacity wise for the game of football then. So that's the only thing that I kind of like lack from not making it, but definitely wanted to make my entrance or make a name for myself in the NFL.
Did you try reaching out to any organizations like the AFL or the CFL or anything like that, man? Try doing any walk-on
I
stuff or anything like that?
I did my little pro day and things like that at Arkansas State. And then I went down and I did a CFL tryout down in Tampa, Florida. And nothing panned out from that. So then once that didn't happen, I just went ahead and kind of progressed in the work field.
I gotcha. Well, I'm sure you did progress in the work field, but even after that, you went to another semi-professional football organization, league, whatever you want to call it, the Gridiron Developmental Football League, man. What was your experience like there?
Oh man, like you said, that semi-pro world, I have utmost respect for those gentlemen, because they're playing a physical game, a man's game, working, taking time away from their family, to play the game that we all love. So my experience with the semi-pro football, it was definitely good as well, just from a statistical standpoint. But it did make me appreciate the little things that I did have, Um, and this goes for I'll throw this out there for anybody listening that's a high school player or college, going to college or trying to pick your school where you want to go. Um, the little stuff that matters is like having tape in your equipment room, having water bottles, being able to study film, not doing your own laundry for your football game. Those are the little things that you're going to appreciate and miss even when you do, if you ever start playing the game of football on a level outside of college or professional, getting into the semi-pro field. But definitely, like I said, the GDFL and my experience with that was pretty darn good.
You played for Oklahoma City, correct?
Yes, sir. I played for the. I played 1 year with the Arkansas Sabres in the GDFL, I believe it was, and then I played another one, and two more with the Oklahoma City Bounty Hunters.
Oh man. What was your stats like there, man?
I don't remember my stats statistically speaking, but let's see. I think we won 1 year. We won two championships. One in the XFL and the GDF, not GDFL, but the ADPFL. Then I believe we won. I think we may have won another one. So I think we won a total of like three championships the whole time I was with the Oklahoma City Bounty Hunters.
Wow, man. Wow. I don't remember, but I believe you did tell me at one point you own a team in the GDFF?
Yeah, it wasn't in the GDFL. It was actually in the what league were we playing in? We played a little bit in the APDFL, and we played another one. I forget the name of the league now; it escapes me. But yeah, I did my little thing with that, with the owning of a team. So that's why I spoke to the whole synopsis of the appreciation for the game of football when you're just out there, just from little league to all the way until you reach you peak out. Just appreciate the little things. Like, don't complain about not having tape or not having water bottles, or if you do have those, be appreciative of them, pick them up. Don't leave the stuff around helping, things like that, because there's gonna come a point in time when you don't have those type of necessities around laying at your exposure for you to just, walk past as if they're nothing, anymore, because they won't be nothing because they won't be there anymore.
Right. What was it like running a team or owning a team? Did you have to get the coaching for the team and everything else, or
Yes,
was
sir.
it
Yes, the
something?
coaching and things like that. I tell you what, man, it was a pure headache. Um,
Oh
just,
wow.
and this is why I say it, because a person who played the game that at the level that I played or reached it, and the respect and love for the game, you just see so many opportunities or gaps in from what we call semi-pro to college and even high school. So um, that's the only reason why I say it was a headache, just for the simple fact of um, the gaps in between the tapes, the equipment rooms, the stadiums, the things that the major needs to have a successful season. It's limited, when you're not able to own your own stadium or own your own transportation company for bus transportation and things like that. And like I stated, players, men, not being able to be compensated for their time and things like that, because it's a semi-pro team, but I've experienced the semi-pro level on the good and the bad side of both. You know what I'm saying? Experience
What's
the
the
good.
difference? You go ahead, man. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good, brother. Experience the good as a player as well as the bad as a player, and I've experienced the good as an owner as well as the bad as an owner.
Okay. What is, all right. Is it full 11 on 11 in semi-pro? Is it all the same, or is it like a 7 on 7, 8 on 8 team, 8-man team, or
Yes, sir.
is
It's
it,
it's
is it,
seven it's seven it's 7 on, I mean 7 on 7. It's 11 on 11 full contact. Um, you have your ranges from 18-year-old men to I've even seen them as old as 40-year-old men that's out there playing. So that's why I say again the gap in semi-pro, high school football, and even pros and college is just a big difference in the world.
whenever you're working and having to run this team, are you trying to get these younger guys a chance at a college or these older guys a chance to go into a more professional environment as well?
If I have the opportunity to, and like I said, I'm not gonna waste. And I take this from my old college coach and high school coach. Just playing the game of football and going to Arkansas State and seeing D1 talent and being around professional talent and playing against it. Um, yes, if I see that a player has the ability and the talent and the mental capacity to and drive to go to the next level, I definitely would help a person get there.
Okay. So after your run in semi-professional football, you started up something that I had a hand in helping in a very small, minute way, and that is Reggie Arnold's Running Back University. And it stopped because of the pandemic, from what you were telling me right before we started this interview. But it stopped right at the pandemic. But before it was going pretty good, I assume. Correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was around that time when everything was starting to pick back up and slow down and pick back up. But definitely, I was running it here in Little Rock, Arkansas. We were mostly hosting our sessions at the um, the indoor facility down on Dixon Road, and we were actually getting a good turnout. I was teaching the kids, of course, the footwork and the agility, speed and agility part of the game, and then we had some um, advanced players or high school players, and we're teaching them, the placement of their hands, on their protection, on the run blocking, of course, the position of how you hold the ball when you're carrying it or running it and things like that, your foot placement, your knee drive, things like that, the mechanics that a lot of people do miss in positions because either the time isn't there or you know it just isn't there to be instilled in them.
Okay. What kind of stuff would you teach somebody who's very green to sports, just coming into the running back game, maybe Pee Wee League or something? How would you teach someone like that, how would you teach someone like that in Reggie Arnold's Running Back University?
uh so if we're just talking about the position of running back, teaching them that, first and
Hmm.
foremost, I would want to teach them that this is a position that if you, as coaches, you will hear coaches say lollygag, loaf. If you're not doing it 100%, then you're gonna have the potential to get injured. That's the first thing that I like let them get out there, so that they would instantly, hopefully, trigger in their mind that I have to move fast at this position. And then from there, I would just teach them the mechanics, how they should run, how they should play the game, what they should look for. Um, Obviously, the holes, the one, two, threes, and fours, and where the ball should be on the outside hand when you're going to what hand the ball should be in when you're running the ball. If you're running to the left side, it should be in the outside arm. If it should be in the running to the right, it should be to the right arm.
Okay. Um, what's the most challenging part of teaching someone who's younger, like much younger in them learning? Is it something that has to do with maybe the attention span of the child, or is it something maybe that's a little bit more technical that they may not understand? What do you find the most difficult about teaching a younger child?
I think the obviously the attention span plays a big part in it, just because having to corral them and then try to hope that they're retaining what information that they are retaining, trying to build off of that. But also, I would say just the knowledge that you have for the game, not trying to thrust so much onto them. Learning to once again see what they're retaining and what their little minds can retain as far as football goes, and builds off of that. Build off of that.
Say you have somebody a little bit more experienced, like a high school player, for example, that thinks maybe they know a lot about it. Is it harder to change their mentality of, hey, you don't know as much as you think that you know, or is it something where it's like, is it more difficult to do that than it is to maybe help somebody in that younger period that you were just talking about, where they may not be able to keep their attention, or they just may not be able to retain as much? Is it more difficult to train to teach a younger kid like that, or is it more difficult to teach somebody who already thinks that they have it down and don't really need the help?
Uh, I would say it would be the kids, because the person, if you have a high school student coming to you, if they're out there wanting to come into practice and show up, because you have to think, a lot of the little league kids, they're out there because their mom and dad bring them out there. But these high school kids and middle school, they're out there doing it by choice. They want to be a part of
Hmm.
the team. So teaching them at that point in time would be, for me, just reflecting as I was a player, that they're not Reggie Bush, they're not Matt Leinart, they're not Patrick Mahomes. I think that's what you would have to break from kids, seeing what those gentlemen do every day. Well, on Saturdays or Sundays, um, comes with time and development. Not saying that you can't do that in a game, but it's going to take you honing in and perfecting your craft. So, like you were mentioning, as far as breaking them from knowing that they don't know everything, I would say that it would be more so having them understand that their mental and their physical maturity has not reached its full capacity. So, once again, let's get in here and work on your craft so that you can be the full player that you can possibly be.
Okay, man. What? Well, let's go back to college just real quick. Well, after college, I guess. You were inducted into the Arkansas State University Ring of Honor. What was that feeling like for you? I mean, that must have felt like a thing, like a finally moment, like finally the recognition that I know that I've worked my ass off to get to, the thing that I've really worked hard to do, and I've finally been noticed for my craft. That's what I would think it would be. What was it like for you getting that call or getting that message saying, hey, you're being inducted into the Arkansas State University Ring of Honor?
It was definitely a joyful moment, because, like you said, it was like the cherry on top for the career that I had at Arkansas State. I obviously set goals coming into Arkansas State to be an elite running back and leave with my name in the record books. And I'm second all time leading rusher. And them announcing that I am in the Ring of Honor and notifying me that, it definitely was a moment of joy for me. It brought tears to my eyes. I was in a moment of like relief, because I was like, okay, I did it. Like I accomplished my football goal in a sense, far as college goals, or one of the goals that I had set in college for college. Um, but overall, like it's a great feeling because I got to relive just like I'm doing with you, the moments of and the times that I had with my teammates, and the opportunities and the victories and the losses and the workouts during the summer, and it's just like a reflective moment to know that all of that went into us as a team having the of course it's an individual, but that's for me that's a team award because I wouldn't been anybody or been the person I am without the offensive line or the coaches giving me the opportunity. So definitely that's a award that those summer workouts and those guys pushing me in the weight room and to come and do the summer workouts, that's something that I would definitely credit to those guys as well.
Did you ever get to make it to a bowl game with your team? Any of your your teams throughout your years of playing?
No, no, sir. We claimed we were. Let's see, we were. I think we were 6-6 2 years that I played. Um, the one year we didn't have as many bowl tie-ins as they do now. So the year was just one of those voting committee type of things. We didn't get voted in for that bowl game or something like that, but we were in high consideration for it. But to answer the question, no, I didn't get to play in any bowl games.
I bet that was one of the bucket list things that didn't get checked off, huh?
Yeah, for sure, man. Like I'll be lying if I said it like you said that after experiencing it as a redshirt freshman, the locker room, the different festivities, and the different things that come with playing in a bowl game. After that freshman year and not being able to experience as an active player, definitely like you say was something that was on the bucket list and then get crossed off. That brings a little pain to everything.
How do you deal with losses, or how did you deal with losses whenever it came to it? I know there was probably some really close games or some games maybe against Memphis that you may have. I don't know if you lost any games against Memphis while you were playing, but I know they're a rival. But out of conference rival. But anyway, I wonder how you dealt with losses, tough losses. How did you deal with that and come back from it?
For me, dealing with a tough loss, like you say, a game where you prepared all week and you just come up a little short on game day. Um, to me, those are one of those games where it's more teaching than criticism because you know you go in there and you're gonna find opportunities as far as maybe a turnover here or a missed block there. So I use those tough losses as teaching moments, not so much as demoralizing or let them demoralize me, but because if you're coming up short in those aspects, it's the little things, like they say all the time, the little things as far as we might have had turned the ball over more that game. We might have had gave up more sacks that game. We might have had less rushing yards that game. So those little things to me are the things that, like I said, are the teaching moments because if you have the tough losses are usually the little minute things especially when you have a really good ball club, it's usually the little small things that will end up costing you games. Like, and most times hear it's the team that doesn't run the ball well or don't control the line of scrimmage. So, excuse me. That's why I threw those things out there as far as getting sacked or us not running the ball well. So tough losses for me definitely were always teaching moments because I always knew that the coaches were preparing us for the win and they were putting the best game plan together possibly for us. And so going back in watching the film to see whether we were out physically manned or we just lacked the execution that game.
Okay. Right on, man. Hell yeah. So, looking back over your 4 years at Arkansas State, if you can, give me your top 3 games that you played in and why.
All right, top three. Well, my first college game, we played the University Army. Um, Statistically wise, 25 carries, 142 yards, and a touchdown. And I believe that was Arkansas State's first victory over a Division 1A ball club, and sometime we got to tear down the goalpost. Um,
Wow.
uh, Texas A&M, of course, that you spoke about. It. Once again, it was a big victory over a SEC school. 25 carries, 142 yards that game. Um, and one that I was shocked that you didn't speak about, the Hail Mary game against Memphis. You know,
Oh, shoot.
we
Can't
came
believe
we
I didn't
came
think about that one.
yeah, we came back and Corey threw the Hail Mary to Patrick Higgins to win that one. So those would be my 3 games,
Holy
top
crap.
games for Arkansas State.
Wow, man. Wow. Man, those are 3 big moments for sure. You know, I don't know how I didn't think of the Hail Mary play, man. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't think of it. Guess it slipped my mind. Um, I'm just, like I said, I'm a kid in a candy store talking to you, man. Like I said, my favorite Arkansas State running back of all time. No, there's no one even close. So, uh, but anyways, we're winding down on the end of the episode. And usually at the end of each episode, man, I like to talk about gratefulness because I'm super grateful, for all kinds of things, man. I'm a very grateful guy. For me, the 3 things that I'm grateful for, you usually don't change that much. You know, for one, it's my support system, my family, my friends, my fiance, my 2 beautiful daughters, and anybody who's really, supported me in any venture I've gone into, which is, either professional wrestling or music or movie making or even this right now, podcasting, very, very grateful for those people that have supported me. Number 2, obviously, people like you, the amazing guests that come on my show that have no reason to even come on the show. I'm just some dude that likes talking to people, and I'm very appreciative and very grateful that anybody would come on here to talk to me. You know what I mean? So definitely grateful for the guests that come on. And number 3, man, I'm grateful that God gave me the gift to be able to talk to people whenever a lot of people are crippled by fear to even reach out and say anything to people. So I'm very grateful that the Lord gifted me the ability to talk to people, the ability to interact with others, and the ability to, do what I'm doing and do the things that I like to do. So, man, Reggie, what are 3 things that you're grateful for in this very moment?
Um, Man, I'm grateful for, like you said, piggyback off of you. My family, the ones who genuinely love me as friends and family members, coaches, team doctors, Spencer Glenn and the guys like that. Um, Thankful for those type of people that I've come across in my life. Uh, my kids, of course. Um, man, my health, And the only reason why I say that, just playing football, as long as I've played football, I've escaped with not having any broken bones or things like that.
Yeah,
And
man, you look like a big
the
dude.
yeah, and the last one I'll say is you know, it's to go back to family, but just to kind of isolate. Thankful for my parents. Thankful for my parents.
Man, those are 3 great things, dude. Those are 3 wonderful things, man. Reggie, man, I appreciate the hell out of you coming on here, man. It
Yes,
means a
sir.
lot to me. It means more than you know, man. Trust me.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you
I've
for
made,
having me, Adam.
oh yeah, man, no problem. Years and years ago, I made fake EA Sports NCAA football covers, and I put you on one of the covers for like a PS3 game or something.
Yes, sir.
So, like I said, you're my favorite A-State running back, man. So,
Man, I appreciate you,
I'm
bro. Appreciate you, man. I keep all your artwork, man. Thank you so much for reaching out to me.
yes, sir. Very tongue-tied at the moment, but you have a wonderful rest of your evening, man. And, hopefully we can talk again sometime soon.
Reggie's just an awesome dude, and I appreciate the hell out of you coming on, Reggie. It means a lot to me, man. As I said in the show, number 2 is who I played with on the video games. I mean, you're the dude I ran the ball with nonstop. It was number 2 all day long, you know, and it means the world to me that you would come on this show. For one, you're a really awesome guy, man, and you know, I didn't think you would be as cool as laid back as you are, man, but I appreciate the hell out of you being on here. And I hope to talk to you again sometime soon. But let's look forward to next episode. The next episode it's a lot of fun. Let's just say that. My brother, Alex Shirley, stops by on the podcast on the next episode, and it's fun, man. It's 2 brothers just hanging out and talking. You know, we talk about all kinds of stuff, and you're going to want to tune in. So trust me when I say this episode is definitely worth watching. But guys, that's it for this one. So never forget to always listen when Adam talks. You guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. We'll be seeing you very, very soon.